This week's episode is brought to you by Factor. Factor provides fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and chefs, delivered right to your door. Take 2 minutes to heat up the prepared meals and enjoy. Every meal is crafted with functional ingredients, lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole foods, and healthy fats. Using no artificial colors or sweeteners, no high fructose corn syrup, no refined seed oils, just nutrient-dense food. Factor has over 100 meals in its weekly rotation, so there's always something new to look forward to, including globally inspired flavors and cuisine. So head to www.factormeals.com/Lewis50 off and use code Lewis50 off to get 50% off and a free daily greens per box with new subscription only. And while supplies last until September 2026. This could all go horribly wrong at any minute. Hello there, and welcome to the 263rd edition of Lewis Black's Rantcast, entitled the Lewis Black Invitational Golf Tournament, which benefits the Luv U Project, which I'm sure sends chills through everyone when they heard it. Really? There's a golf tournament named after you? Yes, there is. And it was this week out in Dove Mountain and the Ritz-Carlton there. It was a fundraiser, 2 days, and it was quite exciting to be there. Quite exciting to have a golf tournament named after me. I've finagled that. It allows me a way to kind of do something really nice for people in a very selfish way. And isn't that what life is all about, especially when we have a president who's taken and redefined selfishness. So the kind of selfishness that I might be showing, even though it is a benefit, and even though I am helping in whatever small way that I can to help raise funds for an extraordinary organization, I've still managed to put them in the position of having a golf tournament named after me and giving myself a portion of each year the time to meet up with my friends I've known for quite some time, many of them, and some very close to me, and it's quite exciting to be able to do this. It started years ago with my involvement with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and that I've worked with them, and I kind of hosted in, really without it being called that, it was called the Ultimate Golf Experience, and especially with someone like myself. It was truly the ultimate golf experience to watch someone like myself play, and it was a long time that I worked with what was an extraordinary group, and that was truly lucky that once again I had the opportunity to be able to do something that was really kind of beneficial to them, but also a bit selfish on my part. But I worked my ass off, and as I did this past week, but not nearly as much as I've kind of realized I can't do what I was doing before. I was doing literally pretty much, I was on stage most every evening and playing golf every day, and shitty golf, and we were doing it for I believe 3 days. We've cut it to 2 now, so I can survive. And but it was there that I met many of the people who now come and join us at the Luv U Project, at the Lewis Black, I have to say it again, Lewis Black Invitational. And it was there that I met Rich Mattingly, who began the Luv U Project. Go to the lovuproject.org. It can do a much better job of explaining really what the focus is of this organization, and its history is quite astonishing. I mean that. And well worth the time and the energy to read, because what he did, what Rich did, with an extraordinary tragedy. And this happens, we see time and again throughout the country, something horrific happens, and and it has turned that moment has then turned into something that really works for the good of everyone. And Rich certainly has done that. It took him a while to recover from what was an unreal trauma, and put together an organization that really its focus is and I think it will expand as it moves along, because Rich has a tendency to connect things as he moves along, is mental health in the workplace. And because that's where, as Rich says, where people spend most of their time during the day. And it began by, and I should have probably started with this, he approached the National Press Club in Washington and said, what we'd like to do is hand out what would be kind of the Pulitzer Prize of writing about mental health, and be it in the workplace or not, and but mental health in general. And they said, well, I don't know if it'll work. And he said, well, will you give me a chance? And they put a bit of their aegis behind it, and lo and behold, an astonishing amount of entries were sent in, and it has become well respected, kind of an honor for the piece to be the piece to be selected, and it focuses folks on writing about it, and then many of them turn to others to help them and give them ideas about writing about it, and it's just an extraordinary group. He's already working with Johns Hopkins University, their School of Public Health, and hopefully soon working with the University of North Carolina's School of Public Health, establishing a portion of the school that would devote itself to mental health in the workplace. It is my a joy to be able to work with them. I'm very lucky to be able to do what little that I do for them, just by if it really helps at all. It's mental health in the workplace, and that's why I'm worked by myself, so that I'm the only one bothering myself and you now. So that's that really makes up in many ways for what was has been one hell week after another, and it reminds me really of the fact that we deal with this insanity day after day after day, and I can't imagine being in a position in a job somewhere where you are kind of in part having to deal with mental health issues, and then you put on top of it dealing with someone who is obviously out of their minds. Or, well, would you really say he's mentally ill? I don't know. All I know is that he shows up this week with his picture. They kind of did it was him as Jesus. He said he presented as a doctor. It was Jesus tending to someone. Donald Trump tending. Come on. I can't even. Literally, my brain, my tongue, everything just gets completely tied up. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't, track it down. Just Donald Trump as Jesus. Google, boom, there it'll be. And it came out on Greek Easter, and apparently it upset people. It upset Christians. Wow, his supporters who actually have compared him, many of them, to Christ, and a lot. Which is beyond my comprehension. Then now see this and are disturbed. Really? That's all it took, was a kind of that cartoon version of him. It's not really, whatever picture they came up with there. Coming out of the White House. Then, of course, he's also, in the midst of this, is shown what his Arc de Triomphe would look like, because it's the 250th anniversary. He also said that down the street from me is renaming, he wants the either the Madison Square Garden, but I believe it's Penn Station, the train station named after him, and apparently they're going to do that. This has got to stop. This is really beyond anything, while he does that. And meanwhile, he said he had opened the Straits of Hormuz, and then it was closed. It was literally was open yesterday, and now it's closed again today. This is not working out the way he had expected. It's okay, though, because we're going to rain down all kind of economic fury on them, just fury. In my brain, I go, Fury. There was a horse that was named Fury that was on, in the mornings, there was a TV show for kids. And that's maybe what it is. It's economic fury, the new first name of the horse. Is anybody home anywhere, okay? Anybody in Congress to just kind of go, here's the line, stop it, okay? You've crossed it too many times. We don't know whether you've gone back or forth or back. We don't know what you're doing, and you obviously don't know what you're doing, and yet they continue to think it's perfectly all right for him to do whatever he wants, and it's not anymore. It really is not. It is obvious he does know what he's doing, and Pete Hegseth has ended up, basically quoting the prayer that he says that they do before they go into battle, but he did it as if it was from the Bible. But then there'll be an argument about that, I'm sure, with people right. Well, no, he didn't really do that. He quoted the version of scripture that Quentin Tarantino came up with in Pulp Fiction about raining down hell on people. And I'd read it, but I don't look it up, okay? Because it piles up. It just stacks up in every day. And, oh, boy, he's gone after the Pope, too, in the midst of all this. And J.D. Vance said that he didn't think that the Pope really knew his theology or should stay away from theology. I'm going to look it up because I forgot. I mean, it's too much every week. J.D. Vance telling the Pope to tread carefully discussing theology. He told the Pope to tread carefully discussing theology. The Pope who came out and basically said that it was important for the peacemakers to step forward now. Okay? He said we should really try to be peaceful because he's the Pope. Okay? And for J.D. Vance, who is a Catholic, to criticize what the Pope had to say about what was going on in the world, and that we're bombing the hell out of them, and that my brain is frying. My brain is frying, and that's what we got. Okay, that is what we have, and the world hates us in the midst of all this. That's right. Just three countries, for starters. Germany, 86%. Look at us unfavorably. Italy, 80%. And the French, 78%. See? Not all the French hate us. They're lower than the others. It's just amazing. And when the rest of the world looks at you, and I've said it time and again, and they don't like you, something's fucking wrong. Something is fucking wrong, whether you want to believe that or not. But it's not some things that, no, it's not worth whatever you think the exchange is, okay? Not even close. So that's what I got. Wow. I'm just going to read this because he's our health secretary. In his new biography, Robert Kennedy Jr., who revealed that he was snorting blow off of a toilet in a public restroom, revealed that the current health secretary, while driving down the highway with his wife and kids in 2001, pulled over his minivan so he could slice off the genitals of a road-killed raccoon. My kids waited patiently in the car, Kennedy wrote in his diary. How's he even admitted it? But for what purpose is he slicing off? To study them? Do research? He would do research? A reporter recently asked, you're not going to believe this, Jeanine Pirro, U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, whether she would prosecute President Trump if he were to shoot someone on Pennsylvania Avenue. After thinking for a moment, Pirro consulted with her media advisor and replied, I'm not going to say it if he doesn't want me to. She's an attorney. He's president. Not. It doesn't matter. She's not going to comment on whether the president has the right to shoot somebody on Pennsylvania Avenue. Seriously, at that point you go, we have to take you in because you're out of your fucking mind. Okay, you have lost your mind. Because the person that you look up to and will not say anything, and you not only that, you have to have your publicist tell you whether you can say something about the person that is already who's a lunatic and is insane, and or you might say, well, if he shot somebody, I'd probably have to let him off because if he did that, he would really be showing he was insane. I don't even, words just start to escape me, okay? The tongue just slaps around in my mouth, and I don't know how to get this out of my head, this stuff. And finally, former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz claimed to have been told by, I won't even read it. We'll read it next week. You can stay tuned for that. And something else from the CDC. And that, because we've already talked about Robert Kennedy, and we've already talked about enough. What we really have to remember is that there are groups like the Luv U Project. Okay? Go to the lovuproject.org. Take a look at it. It'll lift your spirits, I think. And at least see that what we can do when we put our minds to it and give a shit about each other. And wrapping up, I'd like to leave you with these words from the Luv U Project. The mission of the Luv U Project is to turn an unacceptable tragedy into a quantifiable agenda and responsible actions that advance the understanding of and treatments for mental health issues. Well, certainly now more than ever, and certainly apply to most of the quotes I usually read at the end of the Rantcast. And so I really want to thank all the folks who joined us out there at Dove Mountain, and to let those of you who might be interested, and I realize it is, it's pricey, and so, but for those of you who might be able to do it and wish to contribute to a project like this, it's next year's April 12th through the 15th. We will be at the Ritz-Carlton at the Reynolds Plantation Ritz-Carlton on Lake Oconee, and we have a comedy show on the closing night. And this year I was lucky enough to have the very fiercely funny Ophira Eisenberg, who's quite wonderful and well worth your time, and the extraordinary Canadian comic Mike Wilmot, who Jeff Stilson also, and I did a little something, but it really is, I would say, what's truly really generous is the comedians don't work for anything other than to hang out and enjoy themselves and be treated as if they really know what they're doing. And it's really quite generous on their parts. So, and also thanks to the generosity of those of you who continue to write rants. I appreciate that, and it's a joy to share them with you. It's a privilege and a pleasure. I hope you have a terrific week, and ignore the madness if you can, because it's just going to get crazier, and I don't see an end of that coming. Not at least for a bit. Maybe summer will help. Maybe a couple of barbecues while you're listening to the coals burn, and you're smelling that barbecue in the air. Maybe Maybe there'll be that moment when you realize this too shall pass. Take care. This week's episode is brought to you by Factor. For most people, eating healthy isn't about willpower. It's about timing and preparation. And that's where Factor comes in. Factor provides fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and chefs, delivered right to your door. You can hit your spring nutrition goals without planning, grocery runs, or cooking. Just take 2 minutes to heat up the prepared meals and enjoy. Every meal is crafted with functional ingredients, lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole foods, and healthy fats. Factor prohibits over 175 ingredients, using no artificial colors or sweeteners, no high fructose corn syrup, no refined seed oils, just nutrient-dense food. No matter what your diet, Factor has options for you. Whether it's weight loss, high protein, vegetarian, overall nutrition, or GLP-1 support, they even have a Muscle Pro collection for strength and workout recovery. Factor has over 100 meals in its weekly rotation, so there's always something new to look forward to, including globally inspired flavors and cuisine. Try their new ready-to-eat salads with vibrant ingredients like elote corn and miso edamame, plus over 70 add-ons to round out your nutrition, from green juices to peanut butter energy bites. I've tried Factor, and I've enjoyed their blackened salmon and also their wonderful chicken Caesar salad. So head to www.factormeals.com/Lewis50off and use code Lewis50off to get 50% off and a free daily greens per box, with new subscription only, and while supplies last until September 2026. See website for more details. This comes from Howard Stern, that may be his name. I don't know. I know that Howard Stern didn't come to the show. And Howard starts by saying, when going to a show, you should be required to submit your height so the person sitting behind you, who spends half his mortgage payment to see the show, should not have an obstructed view. Thank you, Howard. John B. Hi, Lewis. Welcome to Arizona. And thank you. John B. is literally the only person. I sent out a couple of things on social media. What a treat. And which is why I don't believe it works. And basically saying I was going to be here. If you had something to get off your chest, send it in. Whatever you wanted to talk about. John B. is the only one who did. And the rest of you fuckers, nothing. Hi, Lewis. Welcome to Arizona. You could have come when it was beautiful out here any time in the winter, but you chose right after it started getting hot as hell. Well done. Tell your booking agents, no notes. Speaking of hot as hell, Arizona, why isn't every parking lot completely covered with solar panels out here? And the rest of you, no, fuck that! Fuck that solar panel shit! Son of a bitch! We get 300 plus days of unmitigated sunshine out here. They pay for themselves in under 10 years. Every grocery store, ballpark, shopping center, etc. should be completely plastered with covered parking and then throw solar panels up there. Anyone who's ever parked here will attest to how quickly they shove over as many old ladies as it takes to get the one shady spot in the parking lot. If you're a grocery store, imagine all your refrigerators, freezers, and air conditioning all running for free at the hottest moments of the day. And also, your customers are happy because their cars haven't been set to 350 degrees while they shop. Don't act like these fuckers can't afford it either. We all saw how badly the prices all went up during COVID and haven't come back down. Remember buying a 12-pack of Coke for $2.50? Now they're $12. And anyone who's ever worked for a grocery store will tell you there's a big fucking sign on the refrigerator in the back that says, keep this store closed, and you could save the company $1 to $2 million a year. God forbid you help your customers while helping yourselves save money. Fucking clown shoe bastards. Sorry, I fucked up. That was really good, and I fucked it up. Wow, that's the sound of your desert. I thought this was spectacular because I got these two back to back. This is from Rachel Vines. The first one is my mom, Susan, came here because her brother-in-law, Robert, passed away a few months ago. Hold on. I treated her to the show in his memory because he loved you. It's very sweet. And then Rachel said, please make fun of the name Susan at the April 11th show. And that she's a whack job. Please. Yeah, I don't want to know you, Rachel. Those back to back, it was very good. I don't need to know that. That's from Dustin Bortsfield. I've never heard anybody complain about this. I fucking hate hot air balloons. Everyone else is out there like, oh, wow, look how peaceful. Peaceful? That's a grown adult standing in a wicker fucking basket, lighting a goddamn flamethrower under a giant nylon bag. And just hoping for the best. That's not peaceful. That's a floating bad decision. Who the fuck looked at a picnic basket and said, you know who would make this better? Fire! And zero steering. That's the whole concept. No steering, no brakes, no plan. Just, we'll land wherever the wind feels like dropping our dumbasses. Oh, cool. So your hobby is just randomly fucking landing on people's property? And then there's always that one poor fuck in a pickup truck chasing the balloon with a trailer like he's trying to repossess the sky. That guy isn't a support crew. That's a hostage with a job title. Meanwhile, Captain Dipshit is floating around at 500 feet sipping champagne like he's in a fucking rom-com while the rest of us are down here dealing with actual life and trying not to get taken out by airborne idiots. Then comes the landing, or as I like to call it, what the fuck are we about to hit? Power lines? Fuck it. Highway? Absolutely. Radio tower? Why the fuck not? Now I'm driving to work and suddenly there's a goddamn balloon blocking the road like it just spawned there. Now I don't have to only dodge Subarus. I'm dodging some asshole in a wicker basket. And then the news is like firefighters rescue hot air balloon passenger stuck in radio tower. Rescue? No, that's not a rescue. That's a fuck around and find out extraction. Thank you, Dustin. From Stryker Nelson. In Phoenix, we have only one natural disaster type of event. They're called snowbirds. These pussies can't stand the cold where they live, and they come here. They leave as soon as the temperature hits 90 or higher. I wish they could afford to just go to California, but unfortunately, that state turned to shit years ago. Thank you, Stryker. And then Jared Zendella. Yeah, I know. I worked for a large corporation, and the work I did was all contract-based. Well, the top execs forgot to go out and get a new business, so there was no project for me to join after the project I was on ended. They told me to go find work on an internal marketplace, and if I didn't, they would lay me off. In March, they laid me off, and then 2 days later, I got a bonus with a note saying how valuable I am to the corporation and how they couldn't accomplish their goals without me. Like, what the actual fuck? From Amanda Holt. My husband responds to every single text with, not okay, not words, just, I could say I love you, or the house is on fire, and get, at what point is this emotional neglect? Or do I just concede it's undiagnosed autism? That's from Amanda, thank you. This is from Jay Fuller. Why the fuck is your audience made up of all these old fuckers? Smells like an old folks home in here. What the fuck? And the only reason I read that is SP, who sent in, heavy cologne, why? Jay, here's a tip. Just to remember, you're gonna be old. And I don't care how young you are. You're gonna wake up one day and go, fuck, I'm old. There's no way around it, Jay. So, and fuck you. Fuck you for calling this audience that it smells like an old folks' home. Maybe you smell like an old folks' home. You just don't do that. Now they're going to find you, Jay. And if they don't, my mother will. This one I got from someone sent this in, and I just thought it was, I read it a couple of days ago and just thought it's perfect, and I wanted to read it aloud to you because I think it's terrific. This is from B.J. Terry. Mr. Black, I previously ranted about a few of the issues I've had with the new fucking products these companies now manufacture, or they're full of shit marketing. But I have found another thing that has moved the gauge from you have to be fucking shitting me to holy fucking unbelievable ever fucking hell. I was at the grocery store and I was looking for an olive oil spray for my air fryer foods, and right there on the shelf is, and I had to do a fucking double take to make sure I wasn't hallucinating or having a stroke of some kind. There are cans of triple filtered, all natural bacon grease for cooking. Where did this unholy Satan fucking hell, apocalypse bringing, cock-sucking, manure-brained idea of a product come from? First off, how are they getting this shit to triple filter in the first place? The last fucking time I saw bacon grease cooked with was around 1978 at my grandmother's house for breakfast. She collected this shit in an old chock full of nuts coffee can on her stove that still had motherfucking bits of bacon in it because that was the way she did it in the 1930s and 40s when you saved every godforsaken thing because during the Depression you didn't think you had a choice and they carried it on. During any weather warning, like a hurricane or a snowstorm, she bought till she died Scrapple. And I don't know who fucking eats that shit now. They do in Pennsylvania and Maryland. And I enjoy it myself. So why the fuck is it a good idea to buy bacon fat for cooking motherfucking grease? If I was to buy this shit, I would have to hide it like a heroin stash. And use it in the pitch black fucking room with shades drawn so none of my neighbors would know what a worthless piece of whale feces I was to use such a thing. Holy shit. God bring the rapture to save us from our fucking selves. Have a great week, Mr. Black, and thank you for letting me spout this without the $200 counselor's fee. These two I'm going to end with, and I want to thank you all for coming out this evening. You were just great. I really am only doing like one show a month, and if somebody asks, and they asked here, and it's been a pleasure and being here, and it's been a real pleasure spending time with you. I'm not shitting. It was because I don't. Because you kind of get that I'm doing this on the fly and it doesn't seem to bother you, and that's the kind of crazy I like. This comes from Micha Dumdai. I'm not, if I got that wrong, it's your fault. Love used to mean something. Now it means, I saw you on an app, we matched, and now we're both pretending we're not talking to 6 other people named Josh. And what is talking, by the way? We're talking. About what? You've been talking for 3 months, and all you've said is LOL and sent each other pictures of your dog. That's not a relationship. That's a hostage negotiation with emojis. And people say, follow your heart. No, the heart is an idiot. The heart is like, go back to them. The brain is like, they keyed your car. And the heart goes, yeah, but it was kind of romantic. Love doesn't make sense. That's why we like it, because if it did, half of you wouldn't be here tonight. You'd be home, happily single, not arguing over where to eat for the rest of your lives. And then we end with this from Lavender Williams, which is just spectacular. I moved to Maricopa, Arizona because I met my husband online, and he promised me he'd always keep the heat in the relationship. Little did I know the heat meant living in a place that the sun rays are magnified by a fucking angry kid. I have 0 melanin for protection, and yeah, he's kept me hot with constant boob sweat and sweaty-ass thighs. Fuck a sun-shining day. Whoever decided this was a great place to live can shove it sideways up their ass. And Lavender Williams likes to say to all of us, as she ends by saying, have a great fucking day. Good night. Take care. Thanks to all of you for listening to my Rantcast. If you have a rant you want to get off your chest, send it in to me at lewisblack.com/live. You can think of it as therapy, or whatever you want to think of it as. Just let it rip. And I want to thank the true stars of our show, the ranters, and the splendid rants they gave us. Lewis Black's Rantcast was created and hosted by me. Aha, Lewis Black. Our live rant audio was produced by James Salter. Our theme song by Chris Lane. Executive producer, Ben Brewer. Executive producers, Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly.